Okay, we've added some new parts to Buster. You can see, of course, the compressor down here. And you can't see the dryer, but it's in there. And the expansion valve down in here. Now, one thing I did end up having trouble with, which, well, it'll work for now, but I'm going to have to change out the hoses on the compressor. They don't make this hose set anymore, so I have to have it specially made. It's different than what you get on a F-150 or something. So the hoses that go back into the compressor and come up, there's one going to here, the other goes to right here. I've patched up, I ended up picking up this hose and I've got it triple clamped, and I made a way to hold it together. It's holding, it's got full pressure in it and it's holding so far. But I'm going to have those hoses made here pretty soon, but this way I can have air conditioning for now. I charged it with propane instead of charging it with Freon because I know that it's liable to leak out of this part right here. This little filter, I need to replace it too. But I've got everything oiled up and charged up, and it seems like it works pretty good. I think it's going to work. We'll give her a try here, and I was going to do some experimenting tonight. As you can see, I have Reflectix put up in the windows, and that should help to insulate a little bit. I also, oh, there's a hole there. I also put Reflectix, rather, under the floor here and up under the firewall some. That way I'm going to block off some of the heat coming from the engine. It still doesn't put out the air conditioning it used to, and that's probably that little filter. I don't know, that's why I charged it with propane instead of Freon this time. I'm afraid it's going to leak, and I don't want to leak that Freon out into the atmosphere. But I just wanted to do an experiment with it and see how it's going to work. And we'll do that, and I'll get back to you. Okay, here I am. I'm sitting inside Buster, and I have the Reflectix up in the front windows. I need to get a wider piece for that windshield, because that windshield's longer than the average, I guess. But I don't have them in. I don't have it in that one. I do in the closet, and well, that's about it. But what we're going to do, it's 77 in here right now. We're going to do a little test. It went ahead and, come on, okay. Let's just let it get cooled down. 77 is not bad. 76 is very livable. Okay, so since it's just started, I'm going to start a timer. And I'm going to see how long it's going to take to cool it down enough to be comfortable in here. And then after the engine shuts off, then I will start another timer to see how long before the engine comes back on. That's what I'm kind of curious about. I've got more insulating I can do, but right now I'm curious as to how long it's going to be before the engine cuts off. I want to know how long it's going to run for. So I'll get back with you in a few minutes. Okay, it just cut off. It got down to 75 and took 4 minutes and 27 seconds. So let's start another one. See how long it takes before it starts back up. Okay, it just now came back on. Just restarted. And Notice I got a little fan put up right here. You can kind of see it. There it is. And that is helping to bring the air conditioning back this way. It's blowing it back. But it took, okay, here's what we got. About 15 seconds have passed now, so probably about 19 minutes is how long it took for it to finally kick back on. And I do not have reflectix in this window right here, or in this one, of course. I don't have it behind these curtains, so these curtains are really not that much insulation. Back here, I still actually have my fireplace in place, so we might be losing a little bit there. That window does not have reflectix, just the curtain, and the same thing with this one over here. So the fact that it took, well, basically 20 minutes, that would change with several things. You can set up your thermostat to kick on. Let's say you want it to kick on at 77 and then kick back off at 75. You know, this one that kicks on at 76 kicks back off a little bit less than 75. You can see it's down to 75 there already. I forgot to set my timer, but we know it takes about 5 minutes for it to cool down and shut back off. So we already know that. But anyway, it does work. Now I need to do some more insulating to make it work better. Yep, it just shut back off. You can still hear the fan running, but the engine shut off. But okay, so it does work. Reset the timer again. Let it run. And we'll see how long it takes this time. This time, it's 1907. But anyway, that's going to be the end of the little test. I'm going to do some more insulating and I'll do some more tests. But if you really think about it, the test, any kind of test I do on this particular van with a certain amount of insulation or no insulation or whatever, it's going to be different for every vehicle. It's going to be different for every temperature range. Like right now, it is only 78, maybe 80 degrees outside. It's not super hot, so it's not that bad outside anyway. You could probably just deal with a fan. On a really hot night, it may be different. It probably would be. If you really think about it, you know, every 20 minutes, it running for like 4.5 minutes, 4 minutes, 4.5 minutes. That's not that bad. I would want it to at least get 30 minutes between coming on. I think the engine running for 5 minutes is not going to use that much fuel. Also, that's going to keep your batteries charged up and everything. But it seems like it works. I have a few more bugs to work out. Like I need, just like I said, more insulation. And I'm also going to put a relay under the hood right near the circuit that turns everything on, because the voltage drop from the battery all the way back to this box and all the way back under the hood, you lose some voltage. So it would probably, if it were running through a relay under the hood, it would probably cool down quicker because the fan would be running faster. So, you know, it's all experimentation and still working on it. So, you know, it's all, I'm learning. I was worried about the heat coming back up through the floor after the engine goes off. I haven't seen that at all. Um, it's probably because I have the floor insulated at the firewall, and all the way to the seats, to under the seats, I have that insulated. So I'm not getting any heat coming from the engine. Now, if you didn't insulate that, you probably would get some heat that would be radiating from the engine. I didn't insulate my floor. It's got the factory insulation under it. So as far as like the exhaust pipe and all that that's running all the way under the van, there probably is still some residual heat coming from it. So there's little things like that that you can do, and you could actually make it last longer between kicking on and off. I'm going to have to do a actual usage test of gasoline, you know, hours per gallon of gas or whatever you want to call it. I'll, you know, spend the night in it, you know, fill it up beforehand, let this system run all night, and check the gas in the morning and see how much it's used, or top it back off, you know, and check and see how much it's used. So, you know, a few more experiments and I'll have it pretty much tied down, but I think it works pretty good so far. I think that's going to be about it. It's about time for me to get in bed. I got to go to work early in the morning. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you the next time.